Oh, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day in mathematics. Warm-up 68 is on the screen. By now, you should be experts at this. I'll give you guys some time, about 5 minutes, yes? Jesus, we good? 5 minutes? All right. Copy and go. All right, here we go. Shall we? We shall, Mr. Q. All right. Number 1, we got x squared plus 8x. We need to complete the square. What do we write to complete the square? Gio, go. Parentheses. 8 over 2 squared. So that gives us x squared plus 8x plus 16. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. From there we factor. So we got 16 and 8. What two numbers multiply give me 16 when you add them give us 8, everyone? 4 and 4. So x plus 4 times x plus 4 or x plus 4 squared. So far so good, yes? All right, number 2. If you rewrite this, you should have rewritten it as 144 square root times square root of -1, which gives us what, Sammy? Plus minus I. Hands, if you got that. All right, looks about right. Let's go to addition. I'm going to use blue for addition. So we got this plus that. So I minus 5. Plus I minus 6. So what is I plus I? That's 2I. What is negative 5 and negative 6? That's negative 11. Can we leave it like that? No. How do we write it, Mario? Flip it. Negative 11 goes in the front, and positive 2I goes in the back. That is correct. Let's go to subtraction. Subtract I minus 5 minus I minus 6. All right, distribute the negative in here, so that's negative I and positive 6. Combine like terms. What is I minus I? They cancel. What is negative 5 plus 6? The answer is 1. And have you got that by yourself? All right. Let's go to multiplication. Multiplication. I times I is I squared. I times negative 6 is negative 6I. Negative 5 times I, that's negative 5I. And negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. Combine like terms. Yes, the i's right here. So we got I squared minus 11I plus 30. Am I done? No. Remind your neighbor what we're going to substitute for the I squared. What do we substitute for I squared? What did we substitute for I squared? How about Elijah? What is it? Yes. Negative 1. Yes? All right. So then we got negative 1, negative 11I plus 30. So combine the numbers first. 1 minus 30 is 29. Bring down the negative 11I, and we are done. So far so good, yes? All right. Next. Division, your favorite. I minus 5 divided by I minus 6. Fits in there one time. 1 times I is I. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. Subtract. Distribute the negative here and here. Cancels. We're left with 1. Answer. 1 plus the remainder was 1, which is this one. Remainder. Over, what is our divisor? I minus 6. And if you got that by yourself. Some of you, okay, not bad. And let's go to number 4. Number 4, you should be experts at this by now, yes? All right, so double check with your neighbor before I go over this one. Check with the neighbor, see if they have the same thing as you. All right, so here goes the process. You change f of x to y. We're left with x minus 3 over 7. From there, we need to get rid of the 7, so we multiply times 7, both sides. We have 7y equals x minus 3 because the 7th became a giant 1. Last but not least, plus 3, both sides. We're left with 7y minus 3, plus 3, equals to x. And what makes it the inverse? Remind your neighbor from yesterday, what's going to make it the inverse? It's going to make it the inverse. All right, looks like Mario's got it, Gio's got it, but let's go with Elijah. Pick someone. Joseph, what makes it the inverse? You swap the y and the x. That's what's going to make it the inverse. 7x plus 3 equals y. But we need to change this, so that is f inverse of x equals 7x plus 3. Is that correct? However, for yesterday, I said let's flip these so it can look like this. 7x plus 3. This is my inverse. All right, let me go to B. Same thing. You change f of x to y. That is 4/5 x minus 8. We need to leave x by itself, so we add 8. Add 8. We got y plus 8 equals 4/5 x. How do we get rid of 4/5? We multiply times 5 over 4, both sides. 5 over 4. So that becomes a giant 1. So we got x equals, distribute, that is 5/4 y plus, what is 5 times 8? That's 40 over 4. All right, what makes it the inverse? When we flip or switch the variables. So 5/4 x plus, I'm going to simplify this one, look up. What is 40 divided by 4? That is 10 equals y. And then at the end, we write f inverse of x equals 5/4 x plus 10. However, remember, we switch these, so f inverse of x equals 5/4 x plus 10. Hands if you got that by yourself. Yeah, some of us. Okay. So, before we move on, get that graph paper in front of you. I'm going to have you graph, let's graph this one. Start with these two. Let's do A. Get the graph paper in front of you. Let me get some graph paper myself. There it is. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me see if I can get this. Ooh, two in the house. Let's go. Bring it. It's only technology, people. Come on. All right, let's graph the red one. Where do we start? Tell your neighbor. To graph this red one, where do we start? Talk to the other neighbor. Where do we start? Without a table, where do we start? All right, good conversations. Sebastian, where do we start? Let me remind you guys while Sebastian thinks about it. Remember, it needs to be in y equals mx plus b form. Is that correct? Is that in that form? Yeah, so where do we start, Sebastian? The y-intercept, which is 3, positive 3. So let's go to positive 3 over here. positive. Oh my goodness. Phi is right. All right, let me do this. How about no, it's not. Okay. I'm going to have to do this, guys. Hold on. All right, I'm going to do the old school way. How about them apples? So, here's my coordinate plane. And I'm going to start at what? Positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Plot your points. Next, what is my slope? The slope is what? 7 or 7 over 1. That means right 7, 1 to the right. So then from there I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 to the right. And then graph your line. All right, next, let's graph this first one, f of x. This one. Does this look like this kind? Not really, right? So check this out. You're going to put a 1 here, and we're going to rewrite this. This becomes f of x equals 1 over 7 x. You guys see it now? And then minus what? Minus what? 3 over 7. 3 over 7. That is correct. All right, so let's guesstimate what 3 over 7 is in decimal form. What is that, Jesus? 3 over 7. .42. So this is approximately negative 0.42, or about half. Is that correct? Okay. So negative half. So here's 1. Negative 0.4 is about right third. And what is my slope? 1 up, 7 to the right. So I go 1 up, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And graph your other line. Are we there? Now, this is what I want you to do. On your coordinate plane, since you have the one that's nice and neat, I want you to draw a diagonal line like we did yesterday, like so. For every 1 up, 1 to the right, 1 up, 1 to the right. And this is going to be our y equals x. The red one is our inverse. And the blue one is our f of x. And according to what we saw yesterday, didn't we say that the function and its inverse mirror each other? Look at it. Look at the red one and look at the blue one. Are they mirroring each other according to that line? Yes? Pretty straightforward, yeah? All right. I just wanted to bring this back. Just remember, you need to have the equation in this form, y equals mx plus b, in order to be able to graph it. Okay? All right. So, set that aside. Copy this code. Copy the agenda. Warm-up number 68. Inverse of functions. Tonight's home play sheet 1.4AB, odds only. Now, the last part of the home plate tonight, I think it's 1 or 2 of them. You need to do the graphing just like what we did right now with the last problem, the warm-up. The first 2 problems of the home plate, they're asking to find the inverse of the functions, which is what we did once again with the first part of the problem number 4 in the warm-up. However, I do want us to practice more the checking to see if they are inverses, because yesterday we didn't get enough practice. Is that all right? Yeah? Yes, Mr. Q. All right, good. All right. Copy the code to access the home plate for tonight, K2GJ9. 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 We good? Yeah? So, before you go to Canvas and turn that in. Bah! I want to see what you did. Some of you are like, Mr. Gu, I didn't finish 2 of them, or that's fine. I want to see what you did. Tell me what you got. Before you go. Did I tell you guys already last year? I remember I was in class and I was singing one of my songs, and then I told the class, I'm like, man, I could have been a singer. And then the students on the back, they're like, you could still be. Oh, let's go. A singing mathematician. How about them apples? Pretty good, right? Woo. All right, tonight's home play. Play sheet 1.4 AB, odds only, and it looks something like this. Is it open on Canvas? No? Oh my goodness. All right, hold on, let me pause. All right, our objective for today, can identify and graph an inverse of a function. We already did the graphing today as we did in the past, but here it goes one more time. Once again, make sure when you get to the graphing portion, find the inverse, graph the function, and graph its inverse. What are functions? We already know. They are relations with exactly one output for each input. We did mapping. Is that correct? Yes, Mr. Q. And then we did another example. And what makes it the inverse? Talk it over to your neighbor. Remind them, if this is a function, what made it the inverse, please, so that they remember? What made it the inverse? All right, looks like we got it. What made it the inverse, Enrique? Here goes for everybody. What makes an inverse of a function? What particularly makes it the inverse? Bah! Okay, back to Enrique. Go. Let me trigger Enrique's noodle. What made it the inverse? See, I'm going to try and trigger his noodle. Flip what? And the Y. Woo! Enrique in the house. You flip or switch X's and Y's. X's to Y's. Yes, all right. Did we do that with graphing as well yesterday? Yes, we did the original and then the other one by switching the X and the Y. Huh, Enrique? Yes? All right. And then we got to this one, and I just about finished this one, but some of you left, so let's do another one. Copy this one, please, on your paper, please. And you may put away your Chromebooks. You don't need them. Appreciate it. Don't copy the instructions, just copy the function so we can go a little bit faster. F of x equals negative 2x plus 3. F of x equals negative 2x plus 3. F of x equals negative 2x plus 3. All right, find me the inverse, please. You should be able to do that by yourself. Go. All right, check with the neighbors, see what they got. They should be just about done. All right, looks like Mario's got it. Very good, Mario. Okay, here goes the process one more time. My goodness. Change f of x to y equals negative 2x plus 3. Next, we need to leave x by itself. Minus 3 minus 3, y minus 3 equals negative 2x. We still need to leave x by itself. Divide by negative 2. Y minus 3 over negative 2 equals x. Is that the inverse? No, tell you here what you need to do to make it the inverse, and Enrique's going to enlighten us. What do we do, Enrique? Flip what? The x and the, switch the x and the y. That's what makes it the inverse. X minus 3 over negative 2 equals y. We write this in F inverse notation form. X minus 3 over negative 2. But for the sake of this example, we're going to switch these. F inverse of x on the left side, and on the right side, x minus 3 over negative 2. This is our inverse. All right, so let's check if this is the inverse of that. So I want you to write check. Let's do this together. We're going to start with f of x. So that means that we're going to substitute, instead of x, we're going to substitute the inverse. And at the end, once we simplify the right side, we should have an x by itself. Yes? All right, so let's start with f of x. Bring f of x down. We got f of x equals negative 2x plus 3. F parentheses equals negative 2 parentheses plus 3. So I'm going over this because I sense a disturbance in the force. Here we go. This is on the left side of the equal sign, yes? So what do I substitute in here, Mr. Q? Well, the inverse of the left side of the equal sign. So I'm going to substitute in there F inverse of x. So what do I substitute on the x on the right side of the equal sign, Mr. Q? Well, on the right side, here, we're going to substitute the right side of the inverse function, which is x minus 3 over negative 2. All right, let me zoom in, because we're going to do work on the right side. The left side stays the same, guys. So f of, like I said, the left side stays the same. Let's do the right side now. Here we go. I'm going to put this over 1. So distribute the negative 2 to the numerator right here to both terms. So that gives us negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3, that's positive 6. Over 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Bring down the plus 3. Yes? Okay. Let's continue. F of, again, the left side stays the same. equals, let's simplify. What is negative, look up guys, what is negative 2x divided by negative 2? 1x. Next, what is positive 6 divided by negative 2? Negative 3. And then bring down the plus 3. And one more step. The left side stays the same. Can we combine anything here? Yeah, what is negative 3 plus 3? Cancel, and what do we have left? X. Did we get that, what we were checking for? Yes, Mr. Q. All right, there it is. Did we end up with X? Yes. All right, so let's do now the opposite. Now we're going to start with F inverse of X. So now we're going to start with F inverse of X, which means at the end we need to make it equal to X, but instead of X, what do we substitute? We're going to substitute in the original F of X. Yes? Yes, Mr. Q? All right. Next, draw an arrow so you know where you're getting this from. So the next step is getting the inverse. Bring the inverse over here. And we're going to write F inverse X equals X minus 3 over negative 2. I'm going to rewrite it again, but without the X's. F inverse the X, just put a parenthesis, minus 3 over negative 2. So here we go. Mr. Q, what do I substitute in here? Well, from the original F of X, we're going to substitute F of X. What do I substitute over here, Mr. Q? Well, the right side of the equation of F of X. What is the right side of the equation? Negative 2x plus 3. All right, let me zoom in. So, the left side stays the same, F inverse F of X equals, so now I'm going to work on the right side. Let's see. We have a parentheses and then we have a subtraction. Is there anything multiplying the parentheses? No. So can I combine stuff? Yes. What is positive 3 and negative 3? 0. They cancel, right? So we're left with negative 2x over the negative 2. And last but not least, what is negative 2x divided by negative 2? 1x. Did we end up with what we were checking for? Did we end up with an x on the right side? Yes. And now we check that it is the inverse. All right, let's do another one. Copy this one. Example JMQ. F of x equals negative 3x plus 1. All right, for this one I'm going to give you a heads up. a head start. Find me the inverse. Then I'll check your work really quick. And then from there we're going to go to check. Go. All right, looks like Jesus is done. Jesus, what is our inverse? F inverse of x equals x minus 1 over negative 3. Hands if you got that. That is correct. So double check your work. Make sure you're there. Next, we're going to check. Start with f of x. So that means we're going to substitute into f of x the inverse to check. So what goes here? F inverse, sorry, I skipped a step. My bad. I need to write my function first. F of x equals negative 3x plus 1. And then get rid of the x's and just open parentheses. All right. So what goes here? F inverse of x. And what goes here? X minus 1 over negative 3. All right. So F inverse of x. All right. Tell your neighbor what to do from here, and then Jesus is going to pass to someone so they can walk us through the step. What's my next step there? Next step there. All right, Jesus, pass someone. Mario. All right. What do I do? Bam. Use the terminology. Let's go. Yeah, you distribute. But since this is a fraction, I'm going to write negative 3 as a fraction. There it is. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 over 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Bring down the plus 1. All right. Not bad. Mario in the house. All right. Tell your neighbor what do we do next right there. And then Mario's going to pass someone. What did we do next right there? Pass someone, Mario. Who? Enrique. Divided. So what is negative 3x divided by negative 3? And what is 3 divided by negative 3? Negative 1. All right. And bring the 1 down. So last step, S inverse of x. These combine, and that leaves us with x. So far so good, yes? All right, let's do the other check. Now we're going to start with the inverse of x, which means what, Mr. Q? Which means that at the end it needs to be equal to x when we substitute the f of x in here. So let's start with our inverse function, which is f inverse of x equals x minus 1 over negative 3. And then f inverse parentheses minus 1 over negative 3. All right, let me zoom in, and Enrique is going to pass it to someone so they can tell us what to do from there. Enrique, pass someone. Mario, what do I substitute in here first? F of x, very good. How about over here? Plus 1. All right. So let's finish that side up. Let's see. F inverse of f of x equals. All right. So pass someone so they can help me with this piece. Caitlin, what happens here? Oh, the short way. Okay, the numerator. Look at the numerator. What can I do here? cancel out the ones, and we're left with negative 3x over negative 3. And last but not least, f of x equals, what is negative 3 divided by negative 3, everyone? 1x. All right, let's look at that. Ooh, look at that beauty right there. Let's go. Right? Q merch right there. Let's go. All right, from 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with this now? Yeah, did that help? Yes? All right, here goes your ticket out. How about them apples? This is all you. F of x equals 2x plus 4. You're going to find me the inverse, and then you're going to check both ways, just like what we did right now. I'll give you guys a head start. Once again, take it out. Go. And here's the answer in case those of you that missed it. There it is. Make sure you do your home plate. Emily, Sean, Enrique, Denise. Bye, Kenyon. All right, you can finish up at home. Yeah? You almost done? All right, and make sure you do your home plate. Bye. Later, guys. Have a good one.